Thank you for being invited and have this opportunity to speak. This is a very special place because last year we had also a forum on urban health, and many things that we are discussing today were also analyzed, and it shows, you know, all the streams of energy and interest that are coming together from different areas of work in health to build this momentum that Eduardo was mentioning. So my greetings to the NCD Alliance, all the members, and especially the leaders, Professor Mbuanya and Eduardo, and all the other leaders and friends, colleagues, interested parties from different associations. Very briefly, I want to put some mention to the context and looking especially to the future post a high-level meeting and just a blink of our work in the region. We're really building the civil society and partnerships engagement. We all need to really to do that all along the road, and particularly for the implementation of the outcomes, as has been mentioned by my predecessors, both of them. And then Ashley will go through some of the details of the roundtables and implications for the civil society, and Karen will also share some reflections on the partnerships and the negotiations and what we can expect during the 2 days that are coming. I think that we need to celebrate, as we were mentioning, and be extremely enthused by what the NCD Alliance has really achieved up to now. And I will particularly point out that, you know, when people, I think that there's a lot of talk and writing on advocacy, but I think that this is clearly a show of what is advocacy at its best. So my congratulations to the NCD Alliance. Many movements, you know, around health and other issues that have moved on advocacy have taken years and sometimes decades to come where you have come in just 2 years. So that's amazing, and particularly also on creative communication. I think that the effort, the inspiration and boldness of creative communication has been incredible. We are very proud also as PAHO, which, you know, is the regional office for WHO for the Americas, to be in this region that was really where the initiative started to move these to the high level that government, heads of government, starting with the post-of-pain declaration of the head states of the Caribbean, and also the Healthy Caribbean Coalition and the Caribbean Wellness Days, and many good ideas have come from this region. Now, some contextual points. I think that we have to really, as we have been guided also by Eduardo, think and reflect again on the importance and significance of the UN high-level meeting, which means, you know, putting really this issue on the development agenda and in the forum of the head of states. And I would say also just to make NCDs a familiar word, because everybody has mentioned which it's a little tricky and difficult, you know, to capture the message. But I think that even the heads of government, and if they speak, you know, it will become more and more familiar in lieu of other better name for these things. But we are helped because it's really very, I would say, impossible to find a person that himself, herself, or in the family have not been affected by one. So when you link to that personal or people touch, you know, then everything becomes so clear that we overcome any language problem. So that's also the importance of bringing and balancing, you know, I think that a specific focus that most of the associations have with what are the common issues that all share, so that we can, you know, really focus on what are the goals that we want to achieve together. And I think that that has been the key to make successful the success we are celebrating today. That to get to the UN heads of government agenda, that was a common goal. And even with individual and specific goals and interests and that you are focused and you have to keep focusing, we can find those common things that only joining forces we can really achieve. So I think that we have also post-high-level meeting, very important things to take, and one of those is look into other platforms that are coming of high-level development policy agenda, like the G8, the G20, and especially I want to call in our region, next year is the Summit of the Americas. This is a meeting of all the heads of states of the region that takes place every 4 years. And the last one, the previous one, was in Port Spain, where we got some language into it. But it is really the development policy agenda for the region of the Americas. So we have learned also how to invest in capacity building of the NGOs and the networks. And I think that's a very important aspect. We have a mandate from our member states, we have support from donors, and that's how we have been able really to work hand in hand in strengthening the Healthy Caribbean Coalition in 2008. Trevor is here and will speak, and also the Healthy Latin American Coalition that was created and launched this year in 2011, and Beatriz Champagne is the person leading that. So the next phase also we will start with a new phase of our Pan-American Forum for Action on NCDs, and the Tuesday evening Americas event will be the opportunity for that, building together in one platform government, civil society, and business, and ironing out all these things that Eduardo mentioned, and Carrie about, the principles of transparency and disclosing conflicts of interest, and trying to move forward and overcome. We acknowledge all these problems, including the culture of the different organizations. There's a culture of NGO, there's a culture of governmental agencies, international organizations have their own, and of course private sector its own. But how we can agree, that we share common goals and that we have to work together for that. And finally, there's nothing that we can do better than create a social movement around this issue, because that is what will last and also will change people's behavior in the end, will change the market forces in the end, will change the political attitude in the end. And so one of these instruments that we are using is the Wellness Week. We launched it yesterday in Harlem with the Harlem Chamber of Commerce and the mayor of New York and the Commissioner of Health. And I hope that this weekend, 12 countries in the region, more than 23 mayors and cities are launching a Wellness Week. And we hope that together, this is going to be also another instrument that we will work to share and spread around the world, particularly for 2012. We hope that we can embrace the world in a Wellness Week so that we can also push for the goals that have been set or included in the declaration to overcome some of the weaknesses. I just tell you, even today, people don't know what is PHC, primary health care. And it's much more difficult to tell the people, what is primary health care, and it was launched in 77. It's easier to speak about NCD when you tell the people, well, that's what you have, that's the diseases that are causing your suffering or your family. So keep the hope, keep the strength and the enthusiasm. It can be done. Thank you.